Well, hello, welcome to the new video, and what we have here is the 2024 facelift of the Suzuki Vitara. And Suzuki Vitara, as you can see, is a small SUV, and this new facelift gave it a new front mask, which makes it look like a fish a little bit. But I have to say, I still like the design. We also have the smaller LED fog lights here on the side, which I think, I would also be glad if there was this air curtain that all of the new cars have. It would much improve the aerodynamics, but it is as it is. We still have this front shape of the lights, which is connected with this grille, which is not opened. You only have opening here, and unlike in other competitors, you don't have active flaps behind the front bumper. So that is about the front. I think this new design of the front is quite nice. And improves the car in this way. Now let's go through the side. We have 17-inch wheels with a tire of 215/55 R17, which is a decent size because this car only weighs 1,325 kilos, so it doesn't need wide tires in the corners. In terms of positive caster geometry, there is some, but it's not that evident. Also because the car has a good conception and it has a four-wheel drive, so it has different distribution to the front-wheel drive car. So that's how it is. Now, as we go to the rear of the car, let me talk you through the geometry of the wheels. And the geometry is such that we are running more negative camber at the front than at the rear, and the rear wheels, they run a slight toe-in, which helps you rotate mid-corner, so that's quite nice. Now, from the rear, not much has changed. Basically, nothing has changed. It's as it was before, and you get this hybrid badge, as this is a hybrid powertrain nowadays with Suzuki. Let's open the boot. An interesting thing is that if you want to open the boot without the key, you just press this button, and that gets it unlocked. Now, let's open the boot. This is 362 liters standard capacity. Not the biggest boot in its class, but nicely accessible. Yeah, and that is strong point. You have double floor, as you can see here, so that is quite nice. And if we open this, there is an additional storage area for either the wheel or the compressor and some tools like here. And you also get a 12-volt socket here, a light, and a hook on the other side. So I think it's reasonably practical, this boot, even despite not being the biggest in size. Now let's go to have a look in how it is in terms of seating at the rear. And as you can see, well, it is not the most spacious, but it's actually decent. You have very good amount of space for your feet. For my knees is just about right, but I'm pressing the rear part of the seat. But the good thing is that it's soft here. There is no hard plastic. And in terms of head, really nice. In terms of comfort, there's not much to talk about compared to some of its competitors, because there is no air ventilation here. And in the rear central panel, you only get one under the seat, and no USB connectors for charging. But what you do get is a big space for the bottle in the door and additional small storage area here in the window. So, and getting in and out is decent even for a big person. And lastly, before we drive, let's have a look at the engine. And so here it is, the mild hybrid powertrain of Suzuki. We have a 1.4 liter booster jet engine, which is a great engine, really great. I really do love it. It produces here now 129 horsepower and 235 newton meters of torque, and it's mated to the 6-speed manual gearbox, and it's sending it power to all four wheels, to four-wheel drive system, which engages the rear wheels when it knows that the front wheels do slip, and it's actually working really well. But this engine, what a lovely engine. It's quiet, it's efficient, with a compression ratio, I think, of 10.5 to 1. And thanks to the car being light, 1,325 kilos, you do not need big amount of power for this car. And also the efficiency of the engine, thanks to the car being lightweight, is really good. So I really do love this engine. I loved it in all Suzuki models, and it's just a great engine for driving. But more about that in the driving. So let's sit in the car, let's drive it further down the road and talk about the experience with the new facelifted Suzuki Vitara. Oh, well, hello and welcome inside the facelifted Vitara 2024. And before we set off, I will talk you through the interior. So as this is a Vitara, not much has changed, but what we have here, we have a new display. Let me start up the car. nice. So we have a new display, which is higher quality. We have new infotainment. We also have new buttons, the shortcut buttons here. It's a bigger display as well. And let's wait until it turns on. And this is the infotainment. So yeah, it's quite nice, very easy to use. So one part is the navigation, the other part is multimedia. In the middle, if you press, you can press Android Auto, which is wireless here, or you can press information about the car, where you get the average fuel consumption, which is now 6.5 liters. That is cool. Then you get the history of the fuel consumption. You can check out how the hybrid system works, and you can set the tire pressures or see the fault codes of the car. So really nice. And then what I like about the interior is that it is still as usable as ever. So you have hardware controls for the air conditioning, hardware controls for the heated seats, hardware controls, hardware rotating knob for the mode selector. So you have the snow mode, the sport mode. In the middle, if you press it, you push the auto mode for the four-wheel drive, and you also get the lock mode for the four-wheel drive, as this is a four-wheel drive car, this Vitara, and this is also a hybrid. So this is the powertrain. And then on the steering wheel on the left side you have the multimedia and sound. On the right side you have the cruise control, an adaptive cruise control. Here you can turn off the lane assist, and here you can take up the phone and stuff. And then from the left side, on the left side from the steering wheel, you can very quickly turn off the stability system. You can very quickly turn off the start and stop, turn off the lane assist, turn off the front assist, and also you have the hill descent control in here. Then other things I like about the interior is the seats. This combination of leather and it seems Alcantara, and they are really nice and comfy. And the thing about the interior, yes, it is not the most well built, but all the parts that you touch are incredibly well thought through, and they have very nice material. So a nice leather steering wheel, very nice seats. Also here the door cards are quite nice. These plastic are a little bit rough, but then again these plastic here on the interior are soft touch, which is really nice. So I mean, overall it's a really lovable interior. And then here in the central panel you have these very deep armrests, you have classical handbrake, you have fantastic manual gearbox, 2 cup holders, and the space for your phone. So I really do like the interior. And then the sitting position, well, it is SUV-ish compared to the dashboard. You are sitting reasonably low, but still rather high as it is an SUV. Anyway, let's start moving and let's start talking about the experience with the car. So this car, as I've told you, is a hybrid powertrain. Of course, Suzuki now uses this powertrain for quite some time. It's a 1.4 booster jet, which is a very nice name for the engine, and it's a mild hybrid. And the thing I like about this is that this engine likes to rev. It is long geared, but it's just such a nice engine, and the dynamics of the car are so nice. But it's mainly down to the lightness of the car, because this car only weighs 1,325 kilos. So 1,300 kilos for a small SUV is absolutely amazing, and therefore the dynamics of the car are really beautiful and good as ever. You do not need more than this, right? Now we're in the village, but when we get outside of the village I will try to show you the acceleration. So we are getting closer to the sign. I think we can do it from here. So let's put it in the third. We are at 2000 RPM and the engine wakes up very quickly. 3, 4. We also get a very nice sound of the engine, which is nice, and we're at 120 without any problem. So this is really fantastic. And then you get the sign here of when the car recuperates, when it regens the battery. And actually I have to tell you, the regen here is quite strong for a mild hybrid. It's really comfortable, because then you need to press the brake as much. It really slows down the car quite nicely. So I think it's rather lovely. Let's overtake this truck and let's see. So we're at 100 kilometers. Let's put it in the fourth. 120, 130, 140. This car really has decent dynamics, and it doesn't need big power, which is crazy good. Alright, let's talk more about the comfort of the car. So the car is slightly noisier than some of its competitors, down to the lack of sound isolation. Measured it at 64 decibels at 130 kilometers per hour, so it is slightly noisier, yes, but I don't really mind it, to be quite honest with you. And then to the chassis, I'm extremely surprised about how this car drives, because I was maybe expecting something comfy and soft, but this car feels driver's-like. I mean, we get decently stiff both the damping and the springs, and it just feels so driver's-like. I mean, yeah, you just get very good feedback from the road. It doesn't float. It doesn't float after the undulation, or doesn't bounce. It is just very nicely controlled, body control, you know. So I really have to say, good job. I mean, this car really feels so nice to drive. And also what helps to it is the conception. So even despite sitting in a small SUV, I'm sitting really far from the front wheels, which is nice. I feel really nicely centered in the car, which helps the comfort as well as the driving feedback. So it is really nice to drive this car. Let me turn off these assistants, as I forgot about that. So the lane assist you turn off by the long hold, and the start and stop by the press of a button. And yeah, and then there is the four-wheel drive. So I was driving this car through the mountain pass in the conditions that were like -2 degrees. It was icy on the road, and it is just beggars belief, this four-wheel drive. When you go through the corner while holding the throttle, it sends up the power to the rear wheels when it knows the front loses grip, and it was just gripping so much grip in icy conditions. And I could see that it makes a difference, because when I drove the corner without the throttle, and when I just went into it fast, the rear was left loose. But when I just put the throttle, it gripped again, and it was just, you know, so much grip throughout the corners. I was really surprised. And also, even despite we have a slightly higher center of gravity, of course, because it's an SUV, but we have a light car. So when you're changing directions, or when you get this slip and the car changes the weight distribution from one side to another, it's not as big as in some other bigger SUVs, or even its competitors that are marginally heavier, around 1500, 1600 kilos. So I really do have to say, it's a lovable experience. And then another thing I love about this car is the fuel efficiency, thanks to the lightness of this car. Even though this car doesn't have fantastic aerodynamics, as some of its competitors try to have, particularly the Renault or BMW, maybe X2, which is only a size competitor. But this car, I mean, 6.5 liter on the motorways at 130 kilometers in cold on winter tires. This is absolutely incredible. And we also get a really good gearing. So we have it's a long geared car, as I told you. So we are running at 2,500 RPM, 2,600 RPM at 130 kilometers. So really great. I mean, this sort of consumption, it's like a diesel consumption that you would expect from a car of this size. So really rather fantastic. And it's also down to this engine. It's such an efficient engine, and it's also so quiet. I love this engine. It's great. Anyway, so let's go to the likes and dislikes. Well, the dislikes, in between the dislikes, might be for the people who love technology, who love progressivism, and who love the newest technology in their interior. This interior might feel old-fashioned to them, but it's a great interior. I'm not the guy that would take it as a problem. I really do love this interior. It's lovely to use, lovely to navigate. It is just great. Then also for these people that love comfort and luxury, it might be a problem that the car is slightly noisier, which again, I don't really mind. I mean, for a small amount of time, at times you do mind it, but overall it is not a problem, and that is because the car has other strong qualities that you do feel, and in between these qualities is great four-wheel drive system, great setup suspension. So we have good stiff setup of the damping and springs, Also, the conception of the car is really nice, where you're sitting, how far you're sitting from the front wheels. Also, the geometry of the wheels is really nice. So we are running more negative camber at the front than at the rear, and we are also running toe in at the rear, so the car can rotate mid-corner. So I really do like that. And then I love this engine. We have it long geared. It is an engine that likes to be revved, and it just picks up so nicely with the turbo. Look at it, 140, 150, 160. What a great turbo engine this is. And you know, we even have less power than when the Vitara first came out, and this engine still just goes so nicely. Oh my god. So it's a great engine. It's an engine that likes to rev. It has low pickup from low RPM, from 1300, 1400 RPM. You can definitely feel that it picks up. And the hybrid powertrain, the mild hybrid powertrain that it works with, is just, yeah, it just paired to it fantastically. And you charge the battery, you feel the regen is quite strong, so you don't need to use brakes as much. It's great. And then you get this Japanese design. It's a really nice striking design, I think, for this car. And then there is the price from 22,000. This car has tested 26,590 euros. I think it's a very decent price for what you're getting, because you're getting Japanese quality still, you're getting Japanese reliability mostly with this car, and you're getting a very good driver's experience with fantastic fuel efficiency, with the efficient engine, the car that is really nice and responsive to you, even despite being an SUV, and you get a very good four-wheel drive system that gets you far in the off-road, and also gets you far because it's a lightweight car, 1300 kilos, massive difference to some of its competitors. So Suzuki Vitara, to me, just to sum it up, is a car that is overlooked, massively overlooked in its category. It's a small SUV that definitely should be in between the top 3 small SUVs in its class, and mostly because of its technical standpoint, it's a really, really great car, and I really advise you to buy this car if you like the design and if you're interested in it. Definitely car worth the money. So anyway, that will be about it to this video, to the Suzuki Vitara 2024 with the facelift. And well, if you liked the video and found it useful, well, keep watching, keep subscribing, because more videos are coming on very soon, and I hope to see you in the very next video. In the meantime, take care of you, and goodbye.